A lot of black voters in Chicago has been betrayed by Mayor Brandon Johnson with the migrant crisis. Brandon Johnson had no problem taking resources away from the black communities and giving it to the migrants. Many schools were closed under Democrat Rahm Emanuel, that mayor, 50 schools. And when the black community was begging them, don't close these schools, they closed them anyway. And then when they have these buildings just sitting there, they use them for the migrants instead of using them as maybe community centers or keeping some of the schools open. But I want you to hear what this sister says about, Mayor Brandon Johnson, because we need to home in on this one thing she said.
Hey, in the city of Chicago, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, and it's just so much, it's too much to process at times, but what's most hurtful is being portrayed and sold out by people that look like us. Malcolm X was talking about this in 1963, and here we are in 2024 dealing with the same thing. Our people will sell us out for a few dollars, you know what I mean? And they still not gonna be accepted at the white man's table. That's what's so baffling about it. They sell us out, for nothing. They get nothing in return. And when the man is ready to make an example, who he make an example out of? He make an example out of the black people that's supposed to be in positions of powers, that's supposed to be speaking and representing us. This illegal situation in Chicago is draining. And our officials are breaking laws, making up laws to accommodate foreigners. But what's really crazy is these people flee their country like cowards, but then they come over here to our country and want to act like gangsters. They adopt this Jim Crow South, white supremacist attitudes towards us, but black folks always got to be the ones to embrace everybody. And I just need my people to wake up, take these blinders off your and pay attention to what's going on. Period.
Now, have you heard the point where she talked about people that look like you betraying you? We have to understand is that we got to get out of just supporting someone just because they black like us. We got to look into the person. We got to vet the person, not the color, because that's one trick that the Democrats have always played on black America is that you wanted representation. Okay, we'll give you representation, but that representation is going to be no different than any other Democrat. And we can actually harm you a lot more because it's somebody that look like you. Because if that person was the folks doing it, you would be pouncing on them, right? You'd be talking about racism. But if it's a person that look like you, you're a little bit more quiet about the harm. As of now, you're becoming very loud about it. And this is why I tell my people, it's not about them being black. It's about, are they going to do right by black people? And once again, in Chicago, I said this, it's not a Rahm Emanuel problem. It's not a Lori Lightfoot problem. It's not even a Brandon Johnson problem. It's a Democrat problem. And you keep putting Democrats in office thinking, okay, Brandon Johnson's so bad. And then you get rid of Brandon Johnson and you place another Democrat in his place, you're going to have the same problem. Y'all haven't figured that out yet? And the Democrat Party is anti-black American progress. They are. And they have no problem taking anything away from the black American community. Now, we know in Chicago, the migrant crisis is affecting all communities. I understand that. But you know how we get down over here. We talk about us and what we got going on. What you have to do as black Americans in Chicago is show the Democrat Party you're not playing. Because if all you go do is complain on Brandon Johnson and then go put another Democrat in his place, you didn't teach the Democrat Party anything. You didn't. Now, you got some sisters like Sister Carter Truss over there, and I'm even seeing brothers like Tyrone Muhammad, which is people respected in the community I'm talking about. We've interviewed with Brother Tyrone Muhammad, right? And, he's politically independent. Even Sister Carter Truss says she's politically independent, but she's leaning more toward Trump these days, because the reason why a lot of people who's now leaning toward Trump is when you live in a city where the migrant crisis is right at they're taking resources, they're taking your field house, they're taking money away from your children's schools. You want that element out of there, right? And even Brandon Johnson was the deciding vote in the city council to stop the residents of Chicago from voting if they want a sanctuary city or not. Because he feared that the voters in that city will overwhelmingly say in sanctuary city status. And I'm telling y'all, if you cannot get that on a ballot, then you need to have brave lawyers in Chicago who's willing to challenge sanctuary city status in the courts. Because that's sanctuary city status is discriminatory. Why is discriminatory? You're saying that you're not going to help the federal government with any kind of deportation, but yet you would help the federal government on anything against an American citizen. It's not a sanctuary city for American citizens, only for people who are foreign nationals. No, that's discriminatory. Everybody, right? And the Democrats love to use that word everybody when we talk about something for Black Americans. Everybody has to be treated the same. Everybody, right? So what lawyers are going to step up in Chicago or in New York or in Denver? Y'all suffering too. What lawyer is going to step up and legally challenge the sanctuary city status in the federal courts? That's what y'all got to do at this point. Because these Democrats are not going to get rid of that sanctuary city status if y'all don't make them do it through the courts. I'm telling y'all. And you have a good probability of getting rid of it through the courts. Because it doesn't make sense. Because once they rule on one case, and let's say the courts knock down sanctuary city status, then they're going to have to do it for all of them. So what lawyer is going to step up? What group is going to step up to challenge sanctuary city status? And Black Americans, you got to be out there with them saying, yes, this needs to be done. It needs to be a coalition of American citizens saying this, not just one group. It needs to be everybody, right? Like the Democrats say, everybody. It needs to be Blacks, Hispanics, Asians, white people, East Indians. It needs to be everybody out there saying no, and one accord, no, we don't want no sanctuary city here. Look at what sanctuary city is doing to your city. Look at what it's doing. Yes, they lied to you and just said Greg Abbott, but Biden had been flying people to Chicago the whole time while he'd been saying it was Greg Abbott. The whole time he'd been flying people to Chicago in the middle of the night when y'all sleep. So y'all gotta protect Chicago. And the main thing you gotta do is get Pritzker out of there, because Pritzker is with it too. And then you need to get Brandon Johnson out of there and replace them with people that's going to adhere to what the people want in Chicago and Illinois. Like Chicago is a great city. I love the times I've been to Chicago, and I definitely can't wait to go back to Chicago again. But my brothers and sisters shouldn't be suffering like that. But y'all got to do something about it. Y'all got to register to vote. Get registered to vote. This is the time to do it. And the best step is to get Biden out of there, because he is spearheading all this suffering that's going on in Chicago.